Good evening, guys. I have had a parcel arrive. This is a bag of books. So these are proof copies that I need to have a look at and decide whether or not they are going to go out into the world or whether or not they need some more work done to them. I'm quite excited about this. It's been a long time since I've ordered proof copies. It's always an exciting time, a nerve-wracking time. Oh gosh. Look at the size disparity. Oh, it's got some dust on it. Okay, the one on the top is an early book that I wrote, like the third book I ever wrote that I'm hoping to re-release, and the one below is my current work in progress, and that is a doorstop. Oh my god, look at the size of that. Okay, let's get them out. Let's have a look at the first one. Oh, I'm excited. This is the first time that I have ever designed a cover myself, and I just did it to see whether or not I could. Basically, Georgie is the third book that I ever wrote. It was a transgender love affair. I don't usually write romance. I'm a horror girl. I write horror. Mostly my characters die in hideous ways. Occasionally they're paranormal deaths. Occasionally they're just quite brutal deaths. A lot of the time they're historical deaths, you know, including wars and awful things going on. But I decided to see if I could write a romance. And the reason I did that was because the character just came to me. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes I'll be, well, in this case, I was walking across Gloucester Park, which I think I've shown you in a previous video. I was just wandering across it one day. It was a little bit overcast, a bit blustery, and it just felt like the character was there beside, like fully formed beside me. You know, I didn't have to work at this novel at all. It was one of the easiest to write. Now that I think about it, somebody does die in this, actually. Well, they had to, you know, I mean, what's a book without a good gruesome death of some description? But I mean, it is actually a romance. And so this was picked up, my first three novels were picked up by small press, and the small press that picked this one up also had published Angarichna, which was the second novel I ever wrote, the first to be published. And they also took Georgie, but I was never entirely happy about the cover. I mean, it was my choice, but it didn't really turn out as I'd hoped it would turn out. I've spoken about this all in another video. So many years later, when the rights returned to me, I was suddenly able to do what I wanted with the book. And the first thing that I did was I re-edited it. It's basically, any author who has ever had a book published dreams of being able to go back and re-edit their work. I guarantee it. No matter how amazing the book is, how beautiful, how perfect it turned out, give it 10 years and you will desperately want to go back and change a few things. So I didn't change anything about the story at all. The story is exactly the same. The only things that were tightened up were the grammar and one or two sentences that worked better if they were reworded. Other than that, there's nothing really to speak of. I just needed to clean it up, give it a little bit of a polish, bit of a spring clean. And I needed to change the cover. Very much like with Lucid, which came out with a cover that I was not happy about. I didn't really get a say in that cover. Did not like that cover at all. So when the rights came back to me, I picked a cover that I liked. And it was a cover made by somebody else, but I liked it. And for the first time ever, this is a cover that I did. It's certainly come out a lot better than I expected it to. Now I need to give it a little bit of thought as to whether or not it's exactly as I want it, but it's definitely come out so much better than I was expecting. I like this, and I've got a bit of back blurb on there that maybe need to reword, I don't know. But on the original cover, my friend Daniel did this really nice little drawing of sort of a silhouette with a hat, and that became the Georgie logo, and I've managed to keep it on the back just here. So before it was black on white, and now it's white on black, and I really like that. I should say, whenever you get proof copies, they come with not for resale on them, and I used to think that that was because you buy them cheaper. Well, you don't buy them cheaper, you buy them at cost. So you can order proof copies from KDP and you're just paying the print cost and the postage, so you're getting them a lot cheaper than they actually retail for. But I've also become really grateful for this, because sometimes you have stacks of books, you know, maybe you're doing a signing or you're doing a talk and you're taking them along, and one thing you do not ever want is to accidentally have a proof copy in there with all the mistakes and all of the awful things that you haven't had a chance to read through, and turn up and accidentally sell that to somebody. So the fact it's got this on here, it's very visually recognizable as a proof copy and not one that needs to go out into the wild. So I need to go through it and check that I am happy with it, and if I'm happy with it, I'm going to be re-releasing this. But I might also be doing an audiobook, because I have got an audio studio now, well, an audio box that I can sit in and sweat away in. I am nervous about the idea of it, because I can do voiceover work. I do a lot of voiceover for a lot of videos here. I do occasionally short story readings. I have never attempted to read an entire novel. Well, I have, but it didn't turn out very well. It wasn't like a proper attempt. It was more of a test attempt with my phone. Didn't go well. So I was thinking that Georgie is quite a short book. It's about, I'm going to say maybe 90,000. I can't remember. It's been a very long time, but that is a shorter novel than most of what I write. And I think it would be a good test subject. So what I might do is try and create the audiobook and re-release this version of it with the audiobook. We'll see. But yeah, I like it. That is more the cover that I imagined when it first came out. Yeah, it's a book that makes me smile. You know, I'm not a romance writer, but yeah, I'd say it came out pretty damn good. Anyway, okay, this one here is, this one here is, this one here is, oh my goodness. Okay, this again is my attempt at a cover, and this is probably not the final cover, but it's the cover that I have put as a placeholder whilst I go through to read and see whether or not the book is acceptable. Sorry, I should stop waffling. I'm just going to show you. So this book is called Sargon, and it's historical fiction, and it is the story of Sargon of Akkad. I like that blood spatter on the back. So I told you, okay, horror, okay, it's got blood, get over it. Get over it or get into it. So yeah, this is Sargon of Akkad. This is my love child for the past 2.5 years now. I finished writing it and I haven't written anything since I finished writing it, because it pretty much broke me. The first thing that I've noticed just flicking is print is way too big. It doesn't need to be this size. It's a big book, but it doesn't need to be that size. I can tighten up those sentences and I can make that a shorter book, a thinner book, because, you know, books this big put readers off. This is even bigger than The Children of Lear, which before this book, The Children of Lear was the largest book I'd ever, or the longest book I'd ever written. That was 120,000 words, I think. This one is somewhere around 160,000 word. I think it was about 170 when I finished, and I think I managed to knock about 10k off. But I don't like how wide apart these lines are. The line spacing's too big, the lettering is too big, so I need to sort that out. And the other thing is, I don't know if I like drop caps. Somebody helped me to lay it out, because I was having a lot of problems uploading to KDP because the layout in my book, apparently, no matter what I did to it, KDP wouldn't accept it. So I got a bit of professional help making it fit their crazy upload system. And it finally does, but he put drop caps in, and I took them all out, and then I went, oh, do I like them or do I not like them? And I put them back in. I don't know. Drop capitals. Let me know below. Good, bad, indifferent. I thought I would like them more than I do, so I think I might take the drop caps out again. But yeah, this all needs to become smaller in font and in line spacing, but the important thing is how it reads. So got a bit of work to do on that, and got plenty of time to reorder another copy. I actually really do quite like this. I don't know, let me know. Do you like the cover? Do you not like the cover? How could it be improved? Let me know. But yeah, I think that works quite well. And all of this is quite entertaining, because I set out to write a book about Enheduanna. Instead, I wrote a book about Sargon. So now I have to crack on with my book about Enheduanna. But I thought, you know, I've got to get this out the door. There was a little bit of agent and publisher interest in this, but I've spoken about that before, and I decided that as nice as it would be to have some professional backing behind it, I'm just going to get on with this. I like my book, and I want it to remain fairly much the same as it is. I want it to remain as my story, and I don't mind changing things, and I don't mind reducing the word count at all, but I think what was being asked of it, I didn't feel comfortable about it. So and I don't have to in this day and age, because KDP, and people read it, they read it. If they don't, they don't. That's fantastic, but I like it, so I'm going to put it out. So yes, anyway, those are my two books at the moment, and like I said, it's exciting because I haven't had toys to play with for a while. And it's good. It feels good to hold a physical copy of something in your hands. And that means a lot, because, you know, when you're looking at something on a screen day in, day out, it doesn't always feel tangible, you know, whereas when you've actually got it in your hand, it's a proper story now. And I like the idea that it could be in somebody else's hands soon. So I'm going to have to go away and have a think, go through these, make some changes. I need to order another print copy before I go, because of course, living in many countries in the world, you cannot get a proof copy delivered. So I couldn't get a proof copy delivered to my home. And also they're really, really heavy. So that's half my baggage allowance if I want to take that back and read it. So yeah, anyway. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you think about those covers. Yeah, and tell me what you're writing at the moment and how you go through your proofing process if you've got one.